Rain, Rain, Chapter 46. My father has an argument with his brother. On a day when the grass in our yard is more green than brown, and the air is warm and smells sweet, and the branches on the trees are fuzzy with new leaves, Uncle Weldon drives me home from Hatford Elementary. He drives across the finished bridge and parks the truck. My father is standing at the front of our own truck, tinkering with things under the hood. He hasn't been back to the J&R garage since the day Jerry friggin' fired him. He works on the truck and in the yard now that the bridge is finished. I do not think his job search is going well. One afternoon last week when Uncle Weldon was driving me home, I said, I guess my father could drive me to school and back. He still doesn't have a job. Uncle Weldon started shaking his head before I even finished speaking. Let's not mention that, he replied. That's what I was hoping he would say. Okay, I said. We rode for a little while longer, and then I said, from my father's perspective, I don't think he wants to run into Mrs. Kuschel or Mrs. Liebler. Seeing them once a month is enough for him. I think you're exactly right. Now on this spring day, I climb out of the truck. Then Uncle Weldon climbs out of the truck. This is unusual. Hey, Wes, my uncle says. My father steps away from the hood and straightens up. He wipes his hands on a rag which is hanging out of one pocket. Hey, do you have a minute? Asks Uncle Weldon. I guess. My father looks wary. Well, I've been thinking. Rose here should have another dog. Don't you agree? I take a step backward. I didn't say that, I tell my father. Nope, says Uncle Weldon calmly. This is all my idea. My father snorts. Rose here didn't appreciate the dog she had, the one she got. She gave it back. She gave it back when she could have kept it. Rain is a she, not an it. My father is angry. Rain wasn't her dog, my uncle replies. She could have kept it, my father repeats. She didn't have to go looking for the owners. Uncle Weldon clenches his jaw. I take another step backward. I was just trying to do something nice for her, says my father. I got her a dog and she gave it back. The one great thing I did. The one great thing. Look, Wesley, not another word. I mean it. Not another word. When my father says not another word, he does mean it. Uncle Weldon retreats to his truck, opens the front door, and slides behind the wheel. Just think about it. Rose has so lit he catches himself. It's lonely for her. I mean, when you aren't around. Rose is fine. She has all she needs here. She's just fine. But a dog, you think you know best? You don't know best. My father slaps his hands on the side of his truck. Uncle Weldon sits motionless behind the wheel. My mind is whirling. I try to send a message to my uncle. Please don't say another word, not another word. If my father forbids Uncle Weldon to see me, then I will have nothing left. My uncle opens his mouth. Are you sure you know what's best for Rose? He asks quietly. My father pulls a wrench out of his pocket. He aims it at the windshield of Uncle Weldon's truck, but then he lowers his arm to the side. He puts the wrench back in his pocket, shakes his head once, and gets to work under the hood again. His hands are trembling. Uncle Weldon puts his truck in reverse and begins to turn around. He waves to me through the window, and I give him a small wave back. Then I run into my bedroom and close the door. Chapter 47. In the middle of the night. On nights when I have trouble falling asleep, I lie very still on my back and pick a number. The more awake I am, the higher the number I choose. Then I count and silently count it backwards by 3. One more night, when rain is dripping softly off the roof of the house, I have been lying in bed for nearly an hour and a half, and I am still not at all sleepy. I think about school. I think about Rain, my old dog. I think about Parvani, who now tells me every time she finds a new homonym. I think about Rain some more. Sleep will not come. 495, 492, 489, 486, 483. I am in the 350s when I start to make mistakes. Finally, I feel floaty and I drift to sleep. Bang! The door to my room flies open, and in the doorway I see the shape of my father silhouetted by the light from the living room. I look at my clock. I have been asleep for less than 20 minutes. My father flicks on my light. I'm taking you to Weldon's, he announces, right now. I raise myself up on my elbows. The time on my clock is 12:02. Why is my father up and dressed at this hour? He hasn't been to the Luck of the Irish tonight. What? I say, but my father is already crossing the living room and I hear the front door open. I think about what he has just said. I'm taking you to Weldon's. Not, we're going to Weldon's, but I'm taking you to Weldon's. This sounds like I'm the only one going to my uncle's house. It sounds like I might stay there for a while. I hurry into the kitchen and grab a garbage bag from under the sink. I hear banging noises outside, and if objects are being thrown into the back of the truck. As if objects are being thrown into the back of the truck. I whisk the bag into my room and stuff clothes in it, as many as I can grab. I set my backpack next to the garbage bag. I make sure my homonyms list is in the backpack. I'm sliding my mother's box off the shelf in the cloak closet when I hear my father shout, "Rose, get out here right now!" I scramble into the truck with the garbage bag, the backpack, and my mother's box. My father is hurtling down the driveway before I have even closed the door. I'm still fastening my seatbelt as we fly across the bridge and start down Hud Road. In the back of the truck, things slide from side to side, bags, a suitcase, a cardboard box. Why are we going to Uncle Weldon's? I ask. My father doesn't answer. He's peering ahead through the windshield at the rain, which is falling harder now. His face is like stone, not soft and slack when he's been drinking. He doesn't turn to look at me. He drives straight and sure and carefully. Why are we going to Uncle Weldon's? I asked again. Once in music class, our teacher showed us a tuning fork. He struck it at the edge of the desk and let us take turns putting our hands on it to feel the vibrations. The air in the truck now is like the tuning fork, vibrating. It continues to vibrate after I ask my question the second time, and still get no answer. We ride in silence in the charged atmosphere through the dark streets of Hatford, our headlights shining on the falling rain and slick trees, and once the eyes of a raccoon hesitating at the side of the road. Does Uncle Weldon know I'm coming? I ask as we turn into his driveway. My father brings the truck to a halt, but doesn't turn the engine off. He reaches across me, opens the door. Go now, he says. Then he does something he hasn't done in a long time. He gives me a hug, a quick hug. When his cheek rests against mine, I can feel wetness. He turns and faces front, his jaw working. I climb out of the truck and pull my things after me. I run through the rain to Uncle Weldon's front porch. By the time I turn around, the tail lights of the truck are disappearing down the drive. I ring my uncle's bell. I ring it again and again. The porch light comes on, and I see Uncle Weldon's face in the window by the door. 1 second later, the door is flung wide open. "Rose!" he exclaims. "What on earth?" I step toward him. "My father is gone," I say.